Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this update on future Hurricane Barry as we watch the low pressure system as it has entered the Gulf of Mexico, and it already looks like it's trying to spin. Dramatic pause into repetition. It looks like it's already starting to spin. It is already kicking up some majorly heavy rain bands. And I gotta remind you, this thing is set to sit and spin for 3 more days. That's right, it is going to sit in the Gulf with incredibly hot hurricane rocket fuel temperatures in the waters 3 days. And I'm going to stick with my planet gas giants on the same side. Planetary orbital angular momentum. This is Hurricane Harvey, part 2, but worse. Because that's what got me here. And so, apropos to Gryffindor, if you stretch from Houston to Emma, Louisiana, it's about 210 miles. And that was the guesstimation I was using for my September and October northeast coast hurricane predictions and inner Florida predictions. So I'm guessing, and this is just a guess, that this thing is going to make landfall on Marsh Island and then come in at Alice B near Avery Island, and everybody loves Emma Watson. Mother Nature can create some of the most beautiful and dangerous things. That lipstick looks very dangerous. So she's dangerous, just like Hurricane Barry. So look, the King Euro takes us on the dawn of July 14th, right by Marsh Island, well, closer to the Texas-Louisiana line. The 00Z icon takes us around the middle of the 13th, right to Marsh Island. I think the icon has been the one that has been the legend on this one. Thor News and the icon nailed it. The gem at the start of the 13th, which makes it the quickest of all the models, also brings it in around Marsh Island. And the less time it has over water, the less time it has to develop or rapidly develop. And so, once again, the GFS legacy has it making landfall to the west of Emma. So many factors here. With the purple rain band we don't want to see around the start of the 13th, so it would be faster. And the Euro is definitely showing some pretty hectic wind speeds of 100 miles an hour. And remember, as I've been saying almost all along, I think the models are completely misplaying this as the total solar eclipse, which also happened right before Hurricane Harvey. It's just too many coincidences for me. That it takes the models a while to recalibrate and get back up to speed. And so, if this thing sits over hot waters for 3 days, it could get Category 3, Category 4, or Category 5 hurricane strength. And not only that, those big rain bands I was showing you about earlier, once this thing tightens, those big rain bands could be lapping all the way from Texas to Florida. Because this is only like a Category 1. Category 5 could be something like that. If it got to Category 5 up to speed, that would give over a day of heavy major disaster causing rainfall. And now let's watch the Euro bring it in. This will be Wednesday after high noon. So it's already been over water for over 24 hours. We are now over hot waters for almost 2 straight days. We're now approaching our 3rd day over hot waters, meaning from Mobile, Alabama, Mississippi, into New Orleans, Lanesboro territory. Then she starts to move in. So that would be almost 3 days of heavy rainfall. So these are the type of rain bands we're looking at now, and this thing has barely even formed. So this is why I think this has potential to be a much bigger disaster than anybody has really wrapped their mind around yet. And so, for the next 12 hours, for sure, 12 to 24 hours, if you are on the coast in any of these areas, you need to monitor this storm. Like I said, I think it will eventually come in here, right up into Emma, inside of Emma, into New Iberia, Barry. And so, like, my theory is that this has moved over 210 miles. So we can almost take the hurricane patterns from last year and the year before and move them 200 miles. Although that's a whole nother theory. We'll get in that later. But I'm saying, if this thing is going to strengthen, what is it going to look like 24 hours from now? Hopefully I'll be editing, and at 3:17 tomorrow, I will put a side-by-side comparison. Here we're just looking at the pressure, where it looks like that weird Egyptian eye thing, where you can see the kind of... And so this is going to be a major storm, and especially if this just sits and spins, it's going to put a lot of heavy rain all along the coasts. Mother Earth, the core, the sun, they move in pulses, and so right now it's pulsing down. This is totally doing Morse code and skitzing out. So that is always a sign that you can take the weird weather watch up a notch when we get any type of radar bizarreness. And this definitely counts as radar bizarreness. I didn't even get the right area. And on another troubling note, we can also see it start to spin here, but we can see it start to kick up the heavy pink. And the heavy pink brings a whole lot of wetness. More wetness than you can handle or you want, no matter how thirsty you are. But then another thing, that this is a Quetzalcoatl rain train storm, where this thing is moving in our Gulf, and you have more moisture moving in to join the party, going all the way up into Europe. Although it's just barely missing, but I think it's going to make it in the near future. So you're going to have a Europe to USA storm. And so, like I said, we got signs of heavy moisture here. If that wasn't crazy enough, we got a whole lot of moisture coming into the West Coast, North Pacific, of the USA and Canada, and just general tons of wetness all over the world. It's why I don't believe this is fully weather-controlled geoengineering, because this is way more moisture and water that you need to play with, unless they're like alien amphibians. And then that's even more reason to band up as one planet and one nation for sure. But see how this storm takes us. This is what I've been pointing out for like 3 years now. Thor News, when I started tracking the rain bands. This basically extends from here, usually goes up through Mexico, goes up the East Coast, and now it's stretched all the way into Europe, up into Russia. So the wild, wacky, weird weather is hitting everybody. So I'm doing what I can to bring you the best information. I like to take the night shift because most people sleep and the energy usually gets to me. The Saturn opposition was wild. Lots of energy. Lots of heavy energy. Dada Boo showing 981 millibar Cat 1 hurricane inside 96 hours. Making landfall in Louisiana. Nathan the Nerd, Asteroid Fight Club All-Star. GFS, Cat 1 or 2, and this was a few hours ago. Louisiana, severe tropical storm or Cat 1. CMC, Louisiana, tropical storm, Icon. Tropical storm, Cat 1. HWRF, which some people were laughing at, Cat 4. I predicted it as a Cat 3 minimum almost the whole time. I think it can actually go to Cat 5, worst case scenario. And so Louisiana now is almost a 59% chance you're getting hurricane force winds. Texas, 40%. Mississippi, 20%. Arkansas, 10%. And you can bet on a whole lot of rain. I'm going to click on through to see if I can find the rain thingy. Where are you at, rain thingy? Rain thingy, where did you go? I'm trying to be funny. Is it working? Dude, I thought I had a rain thingy. Oh, hey. Okay, this will work. This is one good example of watch how the low sits and spins, and the green is the much heavier rain. And so see, this is a 48-hour loop. And so see how it's going to bring a whole lot of heavy rain all the way across the Texas coast into Florida, into Georgia, and southern Carolina. So this could be a record storm on a lot of levels in a lot of ways. This is why this is like now my 14th or 15th video on the subject since the 5th, because it's that serious, it's that underreported, and I think that's how badly the models have mismanaged it. So I think you'll get something like this color that could stretch from there all the way down to there. You could pretty much just get tons of heavy rainfall, and that's not even going to count the storm surge as this thing slowly just whips up. It could be quite a monster barrier we're dealing with here. But I highly recommend, if you can, supporting those of us in the truth community who do what we can to bring you the best information all day, every day. It looks out for you, your loved ones, your family, your friends, your pets, and that includes Dutch Sense. The guy's good at earthquakes. Check him out. And earthquakes are on the stage for the next 3 years, including volcano eruptions as well. So if you're a big coffee drinker, help Dutch out. Maybe buy some Dutch Sense coffee. Good vibes. We all need more good vibes. And let's remember, truth community, we are all in this together. And there's going to be so much action this hurricane season. It's best if we work as a team. But that applies to everybody. And if you want to say thank you to me, you can always send me a letter. I will leave my address in the information box, or my PayPal link will be there. I would love to try out this Wake and No Bake cookie dough core. Got my phone bill paid, or at least I will this morning. So thank y'all for that. Ed K, Tamisha, and everybody who's sent love, donations ever, prayers. You guys are the reason that I'm still here bringing you all this information. And I've done a pretty dang good job. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I'll probably do another update in 2 more hours. And then people will be up. But the next 20 hours are definitely the most important on this thing, in my opinion. And so watch as it progresses. And so I've been talking Cat 3 to Cat 5. Most places barely even have it as Cat 1, Cat 2. I'll even show you. Here we go. And so can't trust it, as Public Enemy would say. Can't trust it. So this red one right here is the closest to Emma. That's what I'm going with. And then, where did you go? Give me your intensity guide. And then, so right now, all of them are saying, dude, it's not even going to get to a Cat 1. I can almost guarantee you it's going to get to Cat 1. And then they're like, dude, only one is like Cat 2. So we will stay tuned, but this is no joke. This could be a big problem for a lot of people. And hurricane landfalling season has just begun. All right.